James didn't know about Peter's heart when he met him, just after midnight on his first night in the workhouse. Peter was 10, or so it was rumoured. James was 7, and his mother had just died. He hadn't cried then, nor had he cried when they buried her in the cold earth beneath a pauper's grave, nor when he had been pushed through the great doors in the workhouse courtyard, scoured clean, dressed in thin grey cloth, and set alongside so many other boys his age. His mother had always told him to never let them see him cry. He was a gentleman, she said, like his father had been, and a gentleman never cries. But it was dark in the boys' dormitory, and nobody was looking. He lay beneath his blanket, raw and empty, the sobs he had fought all day coming in sharp, jagged bursts. He thought the rest of the room was asleep, until the voice came. "Why are you crying?" it said. James sat up with a sniffle, grief dulled by surprise. A boy sat cross-legged at the foot of his bed. The boy was as fair and strong as James was dark and slight. In the moonlight, his small white teeth gleamed. For a moment, James could only think that a spirit had flown in through the window. Who are you?" he asked. "Peter," the boy said, which wasn't a usual name for a spirit. "I've lived here longer than anyone, since I was a week old. You're the new boy. Why are you crying?" James, who was indeed the new boy, considered his answer carefully. It wasn't that he didn't know. Of course he did. It was just so obvious that he didn't know how to put it into words. "I miss my mother," he said at last, "and I want to go home." "I don't have a home," Peter said. "I ran away the day I was born. I didn't want to grow up." This was very strange enough to distract James from his misery. He himself longed to grow up. Everybody he knew did. The only children who didn't grow up were the ones sleeping under the wooden crosses in the pauper's graveyard. You left your family behind," he ventured. Peter shrugged, careless. "But what about your mother?" "I don't have a mother," Peter said. James knew then, with a sense of awe, that he was in the presence of a tragedy. The tragedy was not that Peter did not have a mother. Many of the children in that terrible room did not. The tragedy was that Peter didn't care. It gave him an indefinable glamour, while James, like the other children, was merely a lost, dirty scrap of humanity who cried at night when nobody was listening.